I mean, I think that it's obvious that through the process of raising a company, it's good to have a partner that can help you out and everything. But I think that for the fact of an exit, I don't know. I mean, just sorry to interrupt you, but I think that if we focus to answer this question, which is, do investors help out in exit strategy? I'd say that yes and no. First, I mean, yes, of course, in terms of screening from a potential buyer, say, okay, this company rose money from this other company, it's smart people. I mean, they wouldn't be stupid just giving a couple of million or 100,000 or whatever to this entrepreneur, of course. But you also get screening from a good job and from your clients, right? Secondary, if the decision or the facilitation of a sale comes from an investor, I think that it's kind of some trouble there. I mean, I think that the decision to sell has to come from an entrepreneur if everything goes well, right? If it's a sale that it's not looked out for because, I mean, okay, things are going wrong, of course there's something wrong about it, but if it's a positive sale, it has to come from a management team. If not, I mean, and on the flip side, if the investor does not facilitate a sale that the management team says is a good sale, it's another trouble because, I mean, morale will go down if the sale doesn't happen, right? And personally, I mean, yes, of course, I bumped questions with my investors, but I mean, really, I mean, the decision-making process and everything, I mean, came from network. I mean, from the network, a lot of Endeavor. I mean, Wednesdays was part of that as well. Santiago Linkis, even Jeff. I mean, as I told you, I mean, after I got the napkin, I went to an interview with my new MCP coach, mentor, and said, hey, well, I'm gonna be pitching you, but there's something that I'm sure. And it was great because he knew John Blessens, which is the new CEO of Playdom, and could give me more advice there. And so to make the decision, of course, the network and people who have done it in the past, in the same seat as you are, was very important. People were offering to be intermediaries in the operation, and I decided to no because I was going to be negotiating. I mean, these were going to be my future boss, so I mean, I wanted to handle this situation personally, with all the potential roughness that could go there. But if the roughness eventually got, I mean, we couldn't separate the negotiation from the personal stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that in the future. And of course, once the deal was on the table and the general business terms were in place, the lawyers came in, right? And he, unfortunately, I had him as a lawyer. And someone mentioned that they paid a lot for lawyers in the U.S. Same case here, but
this could be from malpractice, yeah.
But it's definitely you need to get good lawyers aligned because it's a lot of paperwork. It's a very annoying, non-productive part of your business that you want to have someone.
You want to outsource.
Yeah, you want to outsource that. So sorry to interrupt you.
One thing just to comment on that I think is a very important advice to the entrepreneur, which is the following. Many funds, they have a time period in which they have to invest in and a time frame in which they plan to divest. So the entrepreneur has to be really careful in terms of knowing where they are in that cycle, because what I've seen go very wrong in many cases are investors forcing an exit to their investment in the entrepreneur. And to do that, basically what they end up proposing, and many times is very damaging to the company, is, okay, I need to exit, I don't know, next year. So go and merge with this company so you have enough size so that so-and-so can buy you. And so I think that in many cases these things like go really wrong. And the guy is like forced to buy somebody where there's no fit. He's just trying to like put together something to make it bigger, but it doesn't really make sense to go together. So it's very important that the entrepreneur is able to figure, okay, when does this guy really want to exit? And how are those exit decisions going to be made? Because it's very dangerous for him to have something forced in, which can damage the company. In the end, sometimes that even prevents the company from being sold because it's just a mess. Digesting an acquisition or a merger can take much longer, and then it's even more complicated to sell it.
And in terms of, we're sort of talking about exits that, I guess you just touched on a little bit more on planned exit, but exits that happen because of an opportunity. Why don't we talk a second about sort of sale processes? Did you, for instance, Mariano, when you got an offer from Capello, think about running the sort of process where you get 3 or 4 of the big strategics sort of competing against each other to see who would end up with the company?
Okay, well, of course this caught me off guard, but I already knew people in the industry and people from there introduced me to other people. And I could have done it with Zynga. Zynga is a big competitor, famous competitor. And I decided not to do it, basically because the deal was okay. We could have done some extra or whatever, but first of all, I made some diligence of my own with the 2 companies and the people running the company, and they all, in general, they criticized the modus operandi of the CEO of this other company, and given that I'm a very passionate, adverse person and everything, I need to talk to someone that will not get into conflict with me a lot, and someone that I wanted to share a vision with and to have fun working with. So, and also because we were in conversation with them and they took the initiative. I wasn't with the sales sign-on. If it would have been that way, yes, probably I would have done a pool of people fighting for a deal, but I thought it was something that is like someone mentioned dating services versus falling in love, right? I think that's what was our initial approach to our relationship and being loyal. I would feel awkward. Yes, definitely part of.
You're not supposed to laugh. He's young.
No, definitely. For example, in a relationship as well, it would be awkward if a girl approaches, hello, and then he said, hello, well, hold on a second. Hello, you over there. When I start getting so it may be something that's not a smart thing to do. Maybe the smart thing to go and I was recommended, hey, why don't you go and said, I'd much rather not. The next 2 years are going to be, or 3 years, I negotiated 2, we can talk about that later, are going to be close to this company. I want to grow in this company, I want to learn about this, I want to have fun in this. It's a...
And you still have equity in it, which makes a difference.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course. And in addition to that, the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you never know, need to be a fun ride, and it's not all about the money. The money was good enough. All the investors are very, very happy. We did a good job in that. Getting a couple of extra million, not much of a big deal.